Hello, welcome back to this Yom Kippur Yizkor service of remembrance. We begin on page 540 in our Machzor. Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer leolam, hachol v'hayam, rish rush shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat ha'adam, hachol v'hayam, rish rush shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat ha'adam. Eli, Eli, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart. Eternal God, we ask your help, for our need is great. Our days fly past in quick succession, and we cannot look back without regret or ahead without misgiving. We seek to understand the mystery of our own lives, but our effort is in vain. And when suffering and death strike those we love, our faith all but fails us, and we forget that we are your children. God, help us now to feel your presence. When our own weaknesses and the storms of life hide you from our sight, help us to know that you are with us still. Uphold us with the comfort of your love. We turn to page 544. Shviti Adonai lenegdi tamid, ki mini balemot, lachen samach libi, vayagel kivodi, af besari yishkon lavetach, af besari yishkon lavetach. Now page 554. Our Machzor has a beautiful format for this Yizkor service. We are lighting 7 candles, and as we come up to each candle, there are words of healing, there are words for personal reflection, and then there's a kavanah or an intention as we light a candle. So on page 554, we come to our first candle, our words of healing, and we say, Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want. And personally, we think about, as I light this candle, for whom do I grieve? And in my grief, what is it that I need? What kinds of moments make me most aware of what I have lost? And if you're at home, you can join me if you have the Machzor in front of you. Blessed are those who give meaning to our lives. Holy and precious is the example they leave behind. We pray, may our sorrows diminish as we recall their strength. May their wisdom protect us and help us to live. Let our grief be transformed into tenderness towards those who are still with us. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikor hachayim. Blessed are you, Holy One, who gives and renews life. And on 555, some words from the Psalms. Adonai ma'adam v'tedayehu ben enosh v'tchashvehu adam lahevel damav yamav ketzel over. Adonai, how hard to fathom that we are worthy of your care. How astonishing your awareness of us. For we are like the morning mist, our days a passing shadow. At dawn we flourish anew, and by dusk we wither and fade, sending us back to earth's dust. You tell us, return, you who belong to humanity. If only we were wise and understood what lies ahead. For when we die, we carry nothing away. We leave our possessions behind. So mark the wholehearted, take note of the upright, for there is purpose in a life of integrity. Adonai, you replenish the lives of all who revere you, and those who trust in you will never despair. On page 556. Esainai el harim mehayin yavo Ezri mehim Adonai ose shamayim va'aretz al yiten lamot raglecha al yanum shomrecha hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yiminecha, Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka, v'yareach b'layla. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra, yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzeitecha uvoecha me'ata ve'yad olam. On page 560, we come to our second candle. What are my sources of inner strength? How have I survived loss and its pain? Where do I find green pastures and still waters? Blessed is the life force within us, even in the worst of times. Like dew on the grass, it renews and restores. And so we pray together. May courage come. Let dark fears be gone with morning's light. Let grief give way to confidence and new hope. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikor hachayim. On page 565, there's this beautiful yahrzeit prayer, a meditation on lighting the yahrzeit candle by Marge Piercy. It's a little low light the yahrzeit candle makes. You couldn't read by it or even warm your hands. So, the dead are with us only as the scent of fresh coffee, of cinnamon, of pansies excites the nose and then fades. With us as the small candle burns in its glass, we lose and we go on losing as long as we live. A little winter, no spring can melt. And on the next page, candle number 3 talks about healing again. What memories of my loved ones do I cherish the most? Do some of my memories still hurt? How do my memories help me to live a better life? Blessed are the memories, holy and cherished, the love they reveal. We pray, may our sorrows soften and diminish in strength. May the pains of past bereavement grow gentler with time. Let memory bring us nearer to the loved ones in our midst. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekor HaChaim. Blessed are you, Holy One, who gives and renews light. Yesh Kochavim, this beautiful poem by Hannah Senesh. There are stars up above so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with the people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. If you have your Machzor in front of you on page 568, you come to these beautiful blue pages. And these are our Yizkor prayers, Yizkor Elohim, may God remember. And this is a time for silent prayer to start bringing to mind those that you remember this Yom Kippur, this Yizkor. I hold close, I forgive, I am sorry, I cherish, all of the things that we hope to express. So we'll take a moment to pray silently up through page 578. There are selections to choose from to fit who you are remembering today. And then we'll gather back together on 578. on page 578, how do my feelings of grief differ for each person I've lost? What is my personal prayer for each one? What would I like each of them to know about me now? Blessed is the life of every soul, pure and bright, the breath of God within us. We pray, help us know the infinite wisdom that gives life and takes it away. Forgive us for anger, bitterness, and selfishness, and teach us the language of healing. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekor HaChaim. Now we turn to page 583 as we sing Be'ado, this beautiful last stanza from the Adon Olam prayer. My soul entrusted to your care, I have no fear, for God is mine. Be'ado of Kidruchi, Ba'ed Ishan Ve'ahira, Ve'im Ruchi Gevihati, Adonai li velo ira, ve'im ruchi gevihati, Adonai li velo ira. My soul I give to you, my spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your hand. Page 584. As I try to accept my losses, what helps me? What stands in my way? And what have I learned? Blessed is the path to acceptance, very near and sometimes distant as the horizon. We pray that our moments of joy surpass the times of struggle, that we taste the sweetness of each precious day, that the work of our hands brings fulfillment. Baruch atah Adonai Mekor HaChaim. If some messenger were to come to us with the offer that death should be overthrown, but with the one inseparable condition that birth should also cease, if the existing generation were given the chance to live forever, but on the clear understanding that never again would there be a child or a youth or a first love, never again new people with new hopes, new ideas, new achievements, ourselves for always and never any others, could the answer be in doubt? When we fear death's decree, let these bring us solace. The memory of loved ones who have gone before us, a vision of generations to come through whom we reach far into the future, beyond our own lives. And on page 591, what blessings were bestowed on me by the loved ones whom I have lost? In what ways have I been cared for and sustained by others? Who deserves my gratitude and who is a blessing in my life today. Blessed is the pilgrimage from grief to gratitude. Precious are the sights along the way. We pray for humility to see in all things the great artist of eternity, for generosity to respond to the gift of life by giving of ourselves, for strength to hold on to life and to let it go. Baruch atah Adonai mikor hachayim. On page 593, we come to our words of Psalm 23. The psalm, unlike any other, I think, it really is inseparable from our experience of grief and mourning. And so I'll sing in Hebrew the Psalm 23, and then the English can be found on page 594 and 595. Adonai roi lo exor bino deshayar bitzeni al mei menuhot al mei menuhot nafshi yeshovev yancheini b'ma b'leit tzedek yancheini b'ma b'leit tzedek aman shemo gam ki elech begeit zalmavet lo ira ki hatayim adi shiftecha umishantecha ima yinocha uni taroch lefanai shulchan getzorai dishanta v'shemen roshi kosi v'chesed yirdafuni kol yemei chayai kol yemei chayai v'shavti b'vet Adonai Orech yamim Adonai roi lo exor We read together at the bottom of page 595. God is my shepherd, I shall not want. God gives me rest in green pasture and guides me by the restful waters, refreshes my soul, directs me along straight trails for the sake of God's name. And even when I pass through the valley of ominous shadows, I'm not frightened, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff calm me. You provide for me, even if there are enemies about. Your care exceeds all expectation. My cup overflows. Truly, a generous goodness will pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall be with God as long as I live. Page 596, we come to our final candle, and it's for peace. What fills me with shalom? What makes me feel like a whole person? How has my community been a source of renewal and strength for me? Blessed is peace, for all blessings flow from it. Precious is peace, for without it no blessing is complete. So we pray for inner serenity, for peace of mind, for the feeling of at-homeness in the universe and in our hearts. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekor HaChaim. It's now time to recite our names of those in our families, our temple families, our communities, who we are remembering. Their acts of kindness and generosity are the inheritance they leave behind. We feel their absence, but the beauty of their lives abides among us. As it is said, the name of one who has died shall not disappear. Our loved ones' names and their memories will endure among us. These are the names on our lips and in our hearts.
Recitation of names. Our loved ones live in our broken hearts, and at times that bridges some measure of healing. Their acts of kindness and generosity are the inheritance they leave behind. We feel their absence, but the beauty of their lives abides among us. As it is said, the name of one who has died shall not disappear. Our loved ones' names and their memories will endure among us, and these are the names on our lips and in our hearts. Michael and Susan Aroner remember Edith R. Aroner, Joseph L. Aroner, Beatrice Kasdan, Arthur Day, Kathleen Klein Day, Lawrence A. Day, Mildred E. Day, Randall A. Day, Julie Ann DeGuez, Melanie Aroner Katz, Leonard Roth, Joe Roth. Jerome and Rita Becker remember Inetta Hinda Becker, Leon Becker, Susanna De Silva, Carmen Froese. David and Naomi Blakely remember Everett Ernest Blakely, Rosalie Gable, Joshua Jerome Gross, Sylvia Sucher, Malvina Willis. Joan Bloomfield and Cami LaPrade, remember. Irene Bloomfield, Philip Bloomfield, Joe Schwartz. Richard Carcel remembers Carol Andre, Dorothy Lanous, Ethel Oser, Fred Oser, Hugh Oser, Shirley Oser, Muriel Pfister, Leroy Smith. Richard Carcel remembers Jan Carcel, Albert Carcel, Alex Carcel, Beverly Carcel, Gary W. Carcel, Jack Carcel, Karen Carcel, Molly Carcel, Sophie Carcel, Wilfred Carcel. Bella Joseph, Saul Joseph, Albert Pevzow, Norma Raymond, Nathan Rosenstein, Tiba Rosenstein. Larry and Phyllis Karras remember Philip Karras, Rose Karras, Mauro Giuffreda, Abraham Kirshenstein, Blanche Kirshenstein, Mary Kirshenstein. Mark and Robin Cohen remember Lillian Cohen, Samuel Cohen, Harry Solomon, Sally Solomon, Jonathan Pfeffer. The Daner family remembers Ed Daner, Max Berman, Miriam Nell Berman, Marvin Deshevsky, Rachel Feinberg, Norm Fish, Sally Fish, Brittany Frace, Bryn Frace, Billy Harmatz, Harry Canner, Jeanette Canner, Mike Nell, Teddy Nell, Susie Merrill Nach, Drew Monroe, Jim Pippin, Alvin Platnick, Abe Shearer, Dora Shearer, Noah Shearer, Wilbur Shearer, Zalman Shearer, Harvey Simons, George Zuckerman. Janine, Bob, Ian, and Noah Dingler remember Esther Fox, Richard Fox, Ralph Fox. The Elliott family remembers Pat Elliott. Sharon George remembers Estelle Diamond, Gazella Friedman, Clint George, Lori Weisgersh, Michael Hurtlebrink, Julie Moody, Hannah Schwartz, Philip Schwartz, Dorothy Young. Cricket Handler remembers Deborah Fine Agam, Robert Berkelhammer, Harold David Fine, Jesse Fine, Samuel Bayer Fine, Sylvia Rossman Galkin, Benjamin Ross Smith. Diana Heller remembers Rabbi Scott Korngold, Regina Heller, Albert Heller. The Hirsch family remembers William Cullen, Larry Hirsch, Robert Hirsch, Gerald Kopp, May Kopp, Paul Schwarm. Donna Weiss Jones remembers Andrew J. Weiss, Estelle R. Weiss. Jean and Hannah Lowe remember Margaret S. Lowe, William L. Lowe, David William Lowe, Sandra Sperling Lowe, Louis Sloss Jr., Margaret K. Sloss. The Marguerite family remembers Alex Ben Daniel, Yisachar Ben Daniel, Larry Kusik, Baruch Margalit, Moshe Margalit, Rachel Margalit, James Persa, Aaron Shadmi, Chana Shadmi, Menachem Shadmi, Ruth Shadmi. Arlene McDonald remembers Carol Gavant, Harold Gold, Evelyn Goldstein, Vern McDonald. Rabbi Janice Mehring remembers Jean Pollock, Melvin Pollock, Henry Pollock, Mary Pollock, Frank Terminello, Rose Terminello. Leslie and Rick Moss remember Leslie Brigham, Carol Brigham, Sherman Forrester, Francis Forrester, Robert Brigham, Ethel Moss, Trudy Moss, Mickey Westrich, Sherman Westrich, Joseph Levine, Katie Levine, Bunny Levine. Lillian Levine, Sanders Levine, Jack Moss, Jackie Moss, Max Moss, Rose Moss. The Ramsdale family remembers Faye Gans, Lou Gans, Miriam Landman, Philip Landman, George Ramsdale, Melford Ramsdale, Michael Ramsdale, Ruth Ramsdale, Iva Hahn, Leroy Hahn. The Robles family remembers Max Berman, Miriam Nell Berman, Marvin Deshevsky, Rachel Feinberg, Norm Fish, Sally Fish, Harry Canner, Jeanette Canner, Mike Nell, Teddy Nell, Susie Merrill Nach, Alvin Plotnick, Arturo Robles, Patricia Robles, Ramona Robles, Nina Rufino, Abe Shearer, Dora Shearer, Noah Shearer, Wilbur Shearer, Zalman Shearer, George Zuckerman. Frida and Fred Russell remember Rosa Adler, Belle Goober, Max Goober, Bernard Kaufman, Kevin Kirby, Dorothy Russell, Kermit Russell, Jean Russell, Max Russell, Esther Chevik, Aaron Chevik. Jane Sachs and Mundy families remember Sherry Alberts, Jackson Alberts, Bob Foster, Bella Rose Gilbert, Ben A. Gilbert, Mo Gilbert, Molly Gilbert, Herman Goldenberg, Esther Jacoby, Ira Jacobus, Jeannie Jacobus, Jonathan Jacobus, Irene Katzman, David Krieger, Stan Levin, Sandra Candy Mendel, Erwin A. Mason, Harvey Mundy, Ann Olin, Kathy Raymond, Cynthia Richmond, Betty Beck Rosen, Rosalie Ross, Paul Sachs, Rose Sarah Sachs, Stephen Sachs, Stanley Sachs, Karen Shynook, Marv Silver, Marilyn Slutsky, Julie Solomon, Seymour Surnow, Jeffrey Surnow, Peter Tolles, Alan Walt. Paula Schroeder remembers Julie Moody. Larry and Melanie Spielman remember Wallace W. Bond, Jacob Mulrad, Rose Mulrad, Carol Mulrad Spielman, Edna Krug Retzloff, Bertha Siegel Spielman, Sam Spielman, Bertha Marvin Willett, Enid Retzloff Wright, Marvin Spielman, Sonia Mulrad Barr, Larry Barr. I. Rudyard Stone remembers Phoebe McDonough, Albert M. Stone, Esther Goldberg Stone, Louis G. Stone, Natalie Stone, Marilyn Kilbrick Weiner. Sue and Steve Weiss remember Branya Bunny Frankel, L. David Frankel, Clint George, Lori Weiss Gersh, Natalie Stone, Isabel Weiss, Marcus Weiss. The Zucker family remembers Isaac Blaustein, Sarah Blaustein, Shelley Blaustein, Ruth Celia Brown, Herbert Brown, Goldie Brown, Herman Brown, Jack Brown, Ken Burgess, George Coslet, Beverly Donenfeld, Louis Donenfeld, Bessie Finkelstein, Gertie Gibberman, Sidney Gibberman, Rachel Geiser, Emmanuel Charles Hartman, Morris Hartman, Shirley Hartman, Beatrice Maxwell, Barney Miller, Frances Miller, Beatrice Potiver, Ben Zucker, Doris Zucker, Marvin Zucker. Of blessed memory, Samuel Aroff, Adelaide Barron, Judith Barron, Tricia Beers, Jerry Boxer, Sandra Boxer, Sadie Cohen, Abe Goldstein, Elkin Hart, Morris A. Joseph, Blanche Macy, Carl Moore, Hilda Roubaix, Max Roubaix. Of blessed memory, Samuel Aroff, Adelaide Barron, Judith Barron, Tricia Beers, Jerry Boxer, Sandra Boxer, Sadie Cohen, Abe Goldstein, Elkin Hart, Morris A. Joseph, Blanche Macy, Carl Moore, Hilda Roubaix, Max Roubaix. Evelyn Simon, Dorothy Siegel, Samuel Aaron Siegel, Marilyn Stein, Lily J. Taylor, Sheila Taylor, Arthur Toberman, Gina Toberman, Bernice P. Solish, George Solish. Betty Aroff, Molly Mackler Berman, Ben A. Boxer, Edith Boxer. Jean Hart, Kalman Krause, Terence J. Lordy, Joanne Simon Main, Betty Mendelbaum, Julius Mendelbaum, E. A. Eppie Meltzer, Florence Blair Nager, Jean Meckler Riskin, Myrna Sharon Riskin, Lenore Abbott. Randy Allen Salke, Minnie Schaffner, Sam Schaffner, Thomas Schulman, Hannah Sigmund, Jeffrey Neal Simon, Bessie Rose Mackler Slayton, Gertrude Sterner, Harry Sterner, Paul Sterner, William Taylor, Wendell Ray Whitlock. Benjamin Parvey, M.D., Jeanette Parvey, Bella Ruth Solish, Samuel Solish, Faye Weisberg, Herman Weisberg, Tony Bianco, Leonard M. Marks, Virginia Wise Marks, Adeline Catherine Hawk, Milton Schechter, Philip Schechter, Roland Eugene Schechter, Ruth Schechter. And we take into our hearts all those who have no one to remember them.
I want to express our thanks to Sharon George, Melanie Spielman, and to our wonderful tech expert, Thor Larson, for making that beautiful virtual remembrance. Rabbi Jordan Perlson wrote about a time he visited the cemetery, and he was reminded about a famous line of Shakespeare from the play As You Like It. And it happens when the Duke is living in the forest and he looks around the woods that he'd driven through so often, but never really stopped to look at before. And he looks around them and he says, "There are tongues in these trees here. There are books in the running brooks, and there are sermons in the stones that I've never noticed before." At the cemetery, there are sermons in the stones. When I walk in the cemetery and you walk down rows of stones and you can see these sermons in the stones, whether it be in the numbers, one that reads, born 1889 and died 1987, or near it another one that reads, born 1977, died 1979. The numbers don't really tell us if the life was good or empty or bad or filled with love. They just tell us that one life was lived so long and the other ended way too short. If you had room enough to just carve one phrase about yourself, if you had to sum it up in 3, 4, maybe 5 words, which ones would you choose? It's a good exercise to answer that question because it'll tell you what really counts the most for you, what really counts in your life, and that's an important thing to find out about yourself while there's still time to make it so. God, teach us to hear the sermons in the stones. Teach us to forgive those who are no longer with us and to feel their forgiveness from beyond. Teach us to sense their love and teach us how to return their love. Teach us how to feel a link with them so that we may have an anchor or a compass, a sense of roots in this bewildering, fast-moving world in which we live. May God remember them and may we remember them too. May God forgive them and may we forgive them too, so that we may live, so that we may really live. We turn to our prayer of memory, the El Malei Rachamim, on page 598. And if you are able, please rise. El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hamitzei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kiroshim Utohorim, Kezohar Harakia, Mazhirim, Lenishmot Yakirenu Shehalchu Leolamam, Baal Harachamim, Yastirem Beseter, Kenafav Leolamim, Vayitzror, Bitzror, Hachaim et Nishmatam, Adonai hu nachalatam, v'yanuchu b'shalom al mishkavam, v'nomar Amen. Page 606. We join together saying the Kaddish Yatom, Zichronam Livracha. May all their memories be a blessing in this new year and always. We say Kaddish for them, the words that and the names that we saw on our screen, but also for those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. And we join together. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shmei Rabbah B'yalma Divrach Hirutei v'yamlich Malchutei B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael B'gala uv'izman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivorach Leolam u'olmei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shmed kudsha, brichu. La'ela u'la'e mikol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'miran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. We sing together. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. To the end of our Yizkor service, and we move into our Neilah, our closing service of the day. We are going to take 5 minutes just to take a breath, to regroup and reset, and hope that you will join us for this shift in mood, the shift in energy as we come to our final words of prayer, as we rejoice in our prayers that have happened so far, and we will hear the final call of the shofar. come to Neilah, where our concept is that all the gates are opened, everything is aligned now, and even virtually sharing these holy days together, I still think there's a certain wonder, a certain spirit that's present in the midst of community and this New Year energy that's about to be sealed with this, our concluding service of Neilah. We spent the day in prayer and in fasting. We've devoted these previous 10 days, and in many ways the previous 40 days, if you count your work in Elul, to changing our ways. We have done what we can. We've used all the words at our disposal, the melodies, the music, but now we look to God to reach out a hand to us. Yes, Neilah, it's about closing the gates of this holy day. Closing, but even more so, the theme of this service is Ata Noten Yad, God reaching out God's hand to meet us on our journey of teshuvah. That's why the sense and the energy of Neilah is so upbeat and happy. So may all the words we have expressed and all the insight we have attained and all the feelings we have experienced unfold in one outpouring of heart and soul. May we use this time of Neilah to instill these feelings and this moment into us as a deep memory so we can draw strength from it in the year to come. So for Neilah, the ark remains open. We'll be standing throughout this service, so I invite you at home to stand as you are able. And we begin with opening the ark on page 613. Petach lanu sha'ar be'et nilat sha'ar kifana yom. Hayom yifneh hashemesh yavo v'yifneh navo'a sha'arecha. Open a gate for us when the gates are being closed, for the day is about to fade. The day shall end and the sun shall set. Let us enter your gates. We turn to page 640. Holy One, we pray, please be patient. Please pardon and forgive. Please show compassion. Please lead us to atonement and help us, please help us to conquer injustice and triumph over sin. Before the gate is locked and shuttered, before every word is said and uttered, before I've become something different, something other, before the mind has lost its way, before possessions are packed and put away, before the pavement hardens here to stay, before the apertures of flutes are sealed, before the laws of nature are revealed, before the vessels break and can't be healed, before decrees and edicts are imposed, before the hand of God has closed, before we rise to leave this place and go. Beautiful poem by Yehuda Amichai. On page 645. Take the fruits of our lips, wholesome, true, and sweet. Accept our offerings, our words, as we walk your path honestly and with integrity. Life is what you cherish and desire, not the death of human beings. Have faith in our righteousness. Diminish the voices that speak against us. Raise us up and let your presence light the way. Let this day's reckoning be done. Help us find atonement. Give us strength to stand upright in the world. Even before we cry out, may your forgiveness go forth. Adonai, please receive these offerings, the sincere offerings of our lips. And on page 644, we recite for one last time these 13 attributes of God. Adonai, Adonai. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed Ve'emet, Notzer Chesed Lalafim, Yosei Avon V'Resha, Echatav Naker, Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun. On page 650, this Ki Anu Amecha, this is a melody that when I was a little girl and I would sit in the synagogue, actually my synagogue was large, we met at the Civic Center, and I would sit in my parents had to sit like 7 rows from the front in the Civic Center, and I would sit there with them and listen to them sing and listen to the choir sing up in the balcony, and I really did think they sung like angels. And I'll never forget this tune to Ki Anu Amecha, and it's written by Lewandowski, and I love it. So this one last time of singing Ki Anu Amecha. Ki Anu Amecha ve'ata Eloheinu, Anu vanecha ve'ata Avinu, Anu avadecha ve'ata Adonenu, Anu kehalecha ve'ata chelkeinu, Anu nachlatecha ve'ata goralenu, Anu tzonecha ve'ata ro'enu, Anu charmecha ve'ata notreinu, Anu fe'ulatecha ve'ata yotzreinu, Anu rayatecha ve'ata dodenu, Anu segulatecha ve'ata karoveinu, Anu amecha ve'ata malkeinu, Anu ma'amirecha ve'ata ma'amirenu. Page 652, our final vidui, our final confessional. If you'd like to read with me the English in the middle of the page. We are insolent, but you are compassionate and gracious. We are stubborn and stiff-necked, but you are slow to anger. We persist in doing wrong, but you are the essence of mercy. Our days are a shadow passing by, but you are existence itself, your years never ending. Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence, and when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin, but in truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong. So we sing Ashamnu on page 653. Ay, 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 Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, Dibarnu Dofim, ay, Tafalnu shaker. Ay, 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 ya atznu kisavnu latznu maradnu nihatznu sararnu avinu pashanu sararnu kishinu oref. Ay, 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 Rashanu Shichatnu Tihavnu Tahinu Titanu. We turn to page 662 for our Avinu Malkeinu prayer at the conclusion of this day, and we'll read together in English. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, welcome our prayer with love, accept and embrace it. Avinu Malkeinu, act for the sake of your boundless compassion. Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name. Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of sustenance and livelihood. Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of worthiness and merit. Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of forgiveness and pardon. Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of lives well lived. Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of redemption and renewal. Avinu Malkeinu, let our hands overflow with your blessings. Avinu Malkeinu, let the gates of heaven be open to our prayer. Avinu Malkeinu, renew us for a year of goodness. Avinu Malkeinu, we have no sovereign but you. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace when our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Vanenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Vanenu, Ki ein banu masim. Asei manu, tzedakah v'chesed. Asei manu, tzedakah v'chesed, v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Vanenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Vanenu, Ki ein banu masim. Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your hand. As the book of life is closed and sealed, open our hearts and open our hands. Let those who asked forgiveness and those who gave forgiveness depart this place in peace. Let all God seekers and soul searchers of this day depart this place inspired and renewed. Together, let us build a community of commitment. Let all of us be sealed this day, Gamar Chatima Tova, sealed for goodness and sealed for life. B'Sefer Chaim Tovim, sealed in the book of life and good, eager to taste life's sweetness, to enjoy the fruits of our labors and to bring light to the darkness and joy where sorrow dwells. Be sealed for a year of Torah and soulful searching. Be sealed for a year of kindness, good deeds, and love. As the book of life is closed and sealed, open our hands and open our hearts. Many years ago, I brought the custom of inviting the congregation to come before the ark at this Neilah service, to stand in front of the open ark and share that moment in community, to pour out hopes and dreams and wishes and prayers for the year to come. And I know this didn't happen last year, obviously, and I couldn't imagine yet another year without doing that and sharing in that moment. So with a bit of virtual magic, we're going to watch as we approach the ark together, and as we stand in front of the ark and think about all of the generations that have come before this ark, whose hands went into building this ark and caring for this community and sowing the parochet. All of the voices and people are embedded within that place and within this place. So again, enjoy as we approach the ark, and we in community sing Ela Nora Alila.
Now let us turn, return, and return. Now let us turn, return, and be turned. Now let us turn, return, and be turned to the one Hashivenu Ya Elecha v'nashuva Hashivenu Ya Elecha v'nashuva Hashivenu Ya Elecha v'nashuva Hashivenu Ya Elecha v'nashuva. Now let us turn, return, and be turned. Now let us turn, return, and be turned. Now let us turn, return, and be turned to the one Hashivenu Ya Elecha v'nashuva Hashivenu Ya Elecha v'nashuva Hashivenu Ya Elecha v'nashuva Hashivenu Ya Elecha v'nashuva. Now let us turn, return, and be turned. Now let us turn, return, and be turned. Now let us turn, return, and be turned to the one Hashivenu Ya Elecha v'nashuva Hashivenu Ya Elecha v'nashuva Hashivenu Ya Elecha v'nashuva Hashivenu Ya Elecha v'nashuva. Now let us turn, return, and be turned. Now let us turn, return, and be turned. Now let us turn, return, and be turned to the one.
So now we come to our closing Shema sequence. We turn to page 670. We stand as one before the gates of a new year, renewed by this day of atonement, made stronger by all who are with us and by those whose presence we feel within. As long as day fades into dusk, we join our voices in words of hope and dedication. Pithu lanu sha'arei tzedek navovam nodaya. Open for us the gates of righteousness, that we may enter and praise the eternal source of life. So I would like to call on our Baal Shofar, Jeff Zucker, to come up to the bima as we come to our final prayers of this Yom Kippur. We begin on page 672 with this final Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And now 3 times we say the second line. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. And now we have 7 times Adonai Hu HaElohim. 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 Adonai is God. And now, if you are able to please rise for our shofar. Tekiah. Shavarim. Teruah. Tekiah Gedolah. Yasher koach. L'shana haba'ah b'Yerushalayim, and next year in person. L'shana haba'ah b'Yerushalayim. L'shana haba'ah, l'shana haba'ah, l'shana haba'ah b'Yerushalayim. L'shana haba'ah, l'shana haba'ah, l'shana haba'ah b'Yerushalayim. And now, as we come to our very closing, it's not yet dark for Havdalah. We clearly are quite a ways away from 3 stars up in the sky. But in one more sharing I want to do with you, Havdalah, and just to part this Yom Kippur day with some faces of our children participating in Havdalah. So I say to you all, Gamar Chatima Tova, a very happy and sweet new year. I wish for you all the best of health and happiness, and next year in person.